Hey, it's me, MLV. Here is chapter 13 of Touched, called Moving House. Yeah, you sighed. It's hard to come back from emotional manipulation, Hawk said with a sigh as he cocked his head at you. Lean back, chicken, he added gently. You swallowed hard and slowly leaned back. Hawk's arm was across your shoulder with his fingers brushing across your opposite shoulder. Your mum must have been pretty put out, without his quirk keeping her level. She must be taking it really hard, he said, taking a stab in the dark with his guess and distracting you by running his fingers up your neck and tracing around your ear. Yeah, you replied, your subconscious mind telling Hawks the truth while you were heavily distracted by his alluring and suggestive touch. Ah, Hawks thought with an internal smirk. Hey, he cooed, as he took your other hand and gently turned your face towards him. Don't worry, okay? I won't tell anyone. Okay, you whispered, your mind not hearing what he had said because you were too focused on his touch. He leaned in slowly, his gaze falling to your lips, then back to your eyes. Your heart fluttered. It was beating wildly as you parted your lips slightly, ready to accept his kiss, your eyes fluttering closed. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm sorry, he whispered, his lips just ghosting over yours as he pulled back. Not at work. Sorry? You asked, suddenly aware that you'd been answering questions that you hadn't actually heard him ask. It's okay, chicken, he said with a smile. I hate to do this, but I have a mission I'm supposed to be doing right now, instead of kissing my payroll officer. You looked down. I do want to kiss you, he confirmed, but at work's probably not the right place. You nodded with embarrassment. I need to use the computer for work now, he said. Do you mind if I have a little privacy? This is top secret work. Oh, of course, you said shyly. Sorry, I'll go now. You stood up and quickly walked to the door. I'll be down later to do our walk, yeah? He called out to you, and you looked back at him over your shoulder. He was still lounged back on the couch, with both arms up and across the backboard, with legs parted, his chin down but those gorgeous, smouldering eyes locked on you as he sat there. Sure, you whispered with a shaky smile. Oh my goodness, he's so hot. As you left his office and went back down to yours, you couldn't help but feel like something was off. Man, I don't remember anything about that conversation. I hope I didn't say anything I shouldn't have. Hawks got up and walked to his desk after you'd left and typed your father's name into the search bar of the secret service database. Okay, so this is Yin's father. I'm assuming her mother is indeed quirkless to keep the quirk lines pure, which means that that Yin has the same quirk as her dad. If they want her dad, they'll be after her too. He closed the computer down and left his office, ready to do a sweeping search for your father. The rest of the day ticked by slowly for you, and you did your work and then waited until Hawks came to pick you up for your afternoon walk to Mr. Ligma's office. Finally he arrived. Hey chicken, he greeted cheerfully. Let's go. You smiled and stood up, ready to leave. Oh, gotta sign some papers for this new place after work too, you thought, as you walked out beside Hawks. It was a quiet walk this time, and Hawks let it be. He knew you had a lot on your mind right now. Have a good night, he said with a smile as he dropped you off at your boss's door and left. Thanks, he said softly. You had taken all the necessary proof of identity documents to work with you, so you hopped on the bus and headed for the real estate agent to put a down payment on the apartment. You'd told your mum about it, but she didn't care, so you had to do this one on your own. If I can start over with Mum, a new life, away from Dad, maybe she'll be able to pick herself up and we can move on. You checked the directions and walked towards the building that Google Maps had told you to go to, and you let out a sigh of relief when you saw the real estate agent's sign on the door. Oh, thank goodness I found the right place. You pushed the door open and opened your mouth to try and say a confident hello, but had to try again because the first hello came out as a bit of an odd squeak, which drew the attention of all the people inside. So thanks to that, you are now dying inside. Can I help you? One of the agents asked. I'm here to put a down payment on the down payment for the apartment on Suckma Street, you babbled. Oh, yes, right this way, the agent said. Do you have your ID? You thanked every deity under the sun that he understood your garbled sentence, and the proceedings for buying the apartment commenced. At the end of the 3 hours, you had finally successfully bought your own apartment. Amazingly. You thanked them immensely and left to go home. They had agreed to let you and your mum move in straight away, so you rang the local removalists to help pack and relocate your things. All night you packed, managing to get your room, your mum's room, and most of the lounge room packed. You just had the kitchen, study and laundry to go, but the removalists would do that tomorrow. I take the day off work, only that I know that Hawks would get worried and come looking for me. I don't want him to ask any questions. The next morning, you rang your boss and told him that you'd be coming to work a little later because you had to take your mum to the hospital. A little white lie, but a necessary one. And he accepted without question, wishing you all the luck. Okay, I have a half-hour window to get to work after I was due in, otherwise Hawks is going to take notice that I'm not there. You quickly got your mum's drunken ass ready and called for a taxi using the taxi app. It arrived 10 minutes later and you put your mum inside. This taxi's going to take you to our new place, Mum, okay? You said with a reassuring smile. I'll just give the removalists some directions and make sure they're okay, then I'll come across and set you up, alright? Here's a key. We're on the ground floor. Apartment number's on the key, you said, pointing to the number. Your mum had her head hung this whole time, and it broke you up every time you saw her in this state. You'll be okay, you said as you kissed her cheek. I'm coming, you added, then closed her car door and stepped back. The taxi pulled away slowly, and you watched it disappear down the street. Your mum hadn't said a word that whole time. She didn't even acknowledge you, and it stabbed you in the heart a little that she wasn't caring one bit about how much you were trying to do this for her. I have the most ungrateful parents, you sighed internally. You turned and saw the removalist truck coming down the road. Ugh, I hate to do this, but I'm going to have to use my quirk and quirk myself up. Okay, here we go. Confidence, you thought, as you touched your arm. And that's the end of chapter 13. Stay tuned for chapter 14.